Not big on changing the art world. Really, if just like one person could look at any one of my paintings and really be touched by it, that's enough for me.
When did you start making art?
I started when I was about 3 years old. I did a bas relief with some black cord on white paper, and my mom framed it, and we're both pretty proud of that. And I have to credit that for the beginning of my art career.
When did you start making things, I guess, professionally, like getting stuff sold and showing in galleries?
Probably like when I was around 17 years old. Started airbrushing t-shirts and doing graffiti, and I think that was pretty much when my work was really exposed through the 80s with the graffiti. Doing handball courts, murals for nightclubs, you know, the Roxy's in New York City, several others, stuff like that.
So what was some of the subject matter of the murals?
A lot of New York City urban scenes, buildings, brick walls, subway cars, break dancers, all that stuff.
I noticed that your subject matter has changed a lot since then. Do you think you'd ever revisit that stuff in the future, like maybe some more urban scenes or?
I thought about it. It's actually popped in my head within the last month, thinking maybe I could do something incorporating some type of graffiti or concrete into, say, the background of my work, not necessarily focusing on it, but just putting it in the background, little taste and flavor of the 80s.
Can you tell me a little bit about this painting?
Pretty much it's all about we're all the same on the inside. That's what it is. So this one here, she's like in a pretty dark room, and she's putting lipstick on, looking in the mirror, and she's like focused on her outer beauty. That's what pretty much this painting is. I try to again use lines. So you see some of the lighting transfers over into the mirror. She's looking at the mirror. And I have subtle changes, some of these curves. There's a light one right in there from the light being a little stronger. And again, using lines and shapes around it. And there's also another room, maybe a green room, a doorway, and it's lit back there somewhere. And you know, she's got her dress on. She's trying to look all nice and pretty on the outside. And, you know, hopefully she's got a nice good heart too in there.
So what inspires you?
Pretty much lines, shapes. It could be an object. It could be a person. It's pretty much like also like if it is a person, the inner beauty, not just the outer.
Right. And if you had to say, what do you think your style of painting would be?
Pretty much, it's not really a style. I take little bits of this and that. I put it together like a chef making a stew. So I guess it'd be stewism.
I also noticed too in some of your paintings you have a lot of squared brush strokes. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I really like the look of pixels and the mosaic look in my work. It's pretty timeless. So I try to keep that in the artwork. Not necessarily that I force it, but I really do like the look of it, so I just let it come out.
And it also looks like each stroke has the same amount of paint. And it looks like it also has different colors too.
Yeah, I like to load the brush. I mix a certain color, load the brush, and do one stroke. Mix another color, load the brush, and do another stroke. So I try to keep the colors separate for each brush stroke as much as possible.
So these Stuism paintings, how long do you think they take? How long would one take?
All right. Hey, it depends. You know, it usually take like 3 days to a week. That's about average. I think a cigar a day works about right.
So I guess it depends how many cigars you have.
Yeah, definitely.
So Dave, just talking to you downstairs a little bit. You have some nice paintings that you have.
Thank you.
Some stories about. You have the one with the heart on it. You know, tell me a little story about that.
Yeah, definitely. That painting came about through a local woman who rode a motorcycle, and I'd see her all the time. And one day I stopped her and I said, you know, I paint motorcycles. You know, maybe you want something on your bike. And she said, oh yeah, you know, an angel would be nice. And I said to her, I said, oh, you know, yeah, angel with some red hair. And she looked at me and she said, what made you say red hair? And I said, oh, you know, that's what I see on your bike. And she said that her sister had passed away and she had red hair. So this woman now, I got her bike painted and I'd see her all the time. She was local again in town, so pretty friendly. And one day I said to her, I'm going to do a painting. So I did this painting of the angel, and I decided to do her holding a little heart in her hand, because that's what I saw. I don't have any other information from this woman. So when I finished the painting and showed it to her, she texted me. She said she was crying, so I felt bad and I immediately called. And what happened was she was just crying like tears of joy, really. She said, she asked me if she ever mentioned the heart, and I said no. She said, why would you paint a heart? And I said, that's what I saw. And she said that when her sister was alive and she was sick in the hospital, they each had these little hearts. And when they'd visit, they'd exchange hearts. And that when her sister passed away, she took her heart and put it in her hand. And they closed the coffin. So that painting is real special to me. I presented it to her. She actually let me keep it. And it's never for sale, ever. It has her information on the back. So if anything ever was to happen to me, it goes to her. Otherwise, it's going to be in my possession for the rest of my life.
What artists inspire you? Are there any particular artists, like contemporary or maybe from the past, that you might, you know, feel like you kind of feed off of, and do you feel are more influential than not? Or
yeah, absolutely. I'd say probably Modigliani, Picasso. Those two guys really worked with lines and you know, shapes and forms. And Van Gogh, I really dig his brush strokes. It's pretty much a lot of classic guys, but then you also look at like some of my contemporaries, like Keith Haring, how his stuff is real readable, and he also worked with a lot of lines. So as far as that, I try to tell a story through my work also. And Basquiat, how his stuff is very raw. I'm thinking of somehow incorporating some oil sticks, which you use a lot of into my work, just to give it a little raw edge. I try to just take little bits, not too much, just enough so that, you know, I can make it my own.
is there one artist that you could think of that maybe you would want to pick their brain and sit down, kind of ask them about your work and see what their take is on it? Or
yeah, I think that would be Keith. I mean, Keith Haring was like, his stuff just ranged so much. He pretty much painted the history of the world in his lifetime.
What do you think your next painting might be?
I'm really thinking about painting my girl pit bull. I want to put her in an upright position. She's a little princess, so maybe like a nice flower hat and a sundress or something. And I think that'd be an interesting piece. It'll show also the world like her importance to me in my life.
Momentary slip of the tongue, denying all the things that you've done, spinning webs of deception.